Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with me today. You are listening to the Susan Lopresti Wellness, Mind, Body, and Soul podcast, the podcast where I explore the highs, the lows, and everything in between when it comes to a woman's life, her health, and all aspects of navigating the midlife landscape. I'm your host, Susan Lopresti, and today I want to talk to you about an ancient Chinese art of harmonizing energy in our living spaces. And I'm talking about Feng Shui. So, for those of you who don't know anything about Feng Shui, sit back and relax and listen to this wonderful information about how you can change the energy in your house. It's an ancient Chinese art of harmonizing energy in our living spaces, and we'll explore the principles of Feng Shui and we'll discover how it can positively impact various aspects of our lives. And it's really, really interesting. So first off, what is Feng Shui? It literally translates as wind and water. It's an ancient Chinese practice that aims to harmonize the flow of energy or qi in our surroundings. It's about creating a balanced and positive environment to enhance well-being, prosperity, and overall life satisfaction. And there's 5 elements involved. So Feng Shui is based on the concept of these 5 elements, which are wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And each element is associated with specific qualities and energies. And balancing these elements in our space is key to achieving harmony. And I don't know about you, but I love harmony in my life. And there was a time in my life where my life was anything but harmonious. And that's when I was first introduced to Feng Shui. And so the day after I was introduced to Feng Shui, I called out sick from my job. And I spent the whole entire day rearranging the furniture in my home and planning out how I was going to paint the house and how I was going to redecorate and just create this harmonious energy in my environment, because my environment was the total opposite of harmonious. So let's look at some Feng Shui tips for a happier home. So clear away clutter. That is one of the most important things that you could do. According to this philosophy, excessive clutter can impede the flow of energy in your home. So you want to open up the traffic flow, right? You don't want traffic and congestion and honking. And think of Times Square, New York City. You don't want that. You want to design a beautiful, welcoming entry. That's really key. You want to bring in real plants and flowers. It's interesting for me because we just moved to Florida. We have 2 homes now. One of them is in Florida, and we're decorating. And so I want to buy plants, but I'm not here full time. So it went against everything that I know from Feng Shui, but I had to buy artificial plants and flowers because who's going to water them when I'm not here? And so because it's specifically about not being able to maintain them when I'm not here, I feel better about the energy of having artificial, like there's an artificial plant behind me. But normally you would have real live plants. Also, you want to create balance with Feng Shui colors. And that was the other thing that I was saying, that when I took that day off from work, I was already planning what colors I was going to put in each room to create harmony and peace and love and just beautiful energies. My home needed beautiful energies in it. And so that's what I did with the Feng Shui colors. And then you want to utilize command positions. What I mean by that is Feng Shui, you achieve the command positions by positioning your furniture, like your bed or a desk, so that it has a clear view to the entrance to the room. And by doing so, you'll have a greater sense of security and control. So you'll see anyone entering in the room, and you'll be less likely to be caught off guard because you didn't see them walking in. They would come head on right to you. So what is command position in the window in Feng Shui? Windows facilitate both good and bad energy. Positioning your desk and bed underneath your window may not be the best command position, as the window caters to good and bad energy. And the bad thing is that it creates a feeling of being unsafe about what's to come and what's going to happen. What about commanding position of a desk? The position of your desk is crucial for good Feng Shui. The principle of the commanding position is very important here. This means that when you're sitting at your desk, you should be able to see the door without being directly in line with it. Usually this is like diagonal or kitty corner from the door. So that's great. Also, you're not in the direct line of the energy. And so your couch, what about your commanding position of your couch? Should your couch touch the wall? A guide to perfect feng shui and flow, make sure that there's a small space between the couch and the wall to allow air and energy to flow freely and to balance out that space. Position your couch in the commanding position, which means in a spot that allows you to see the main door as well, right? So you always want to be in line with the door. And then let's talk about the Bagua map. The Bagua map is a fundamental tool in Feng Shui. It divides our living spaces into 9 zones, each corresponding to different areas of our life, such as our health and our wealth, relationships, career. And by arranging and enhancing these areas, we can influence the corresponding aspects of our lives. So here's some practical tips, and apply these tips in your home or your workplace. So I mentioned earlier decluttering. Clearing clutter allows energy to flow freely. You want to also have balance. So maintain balance in colors, in shapes, and elements. You want to maximize natural light to uplift energy. I love natural light. You need those live indoor plants to improve air quality and also the vitality of the energy in your home. You want to use symbols and art that resonate positively with you, that make you feel good. So what are the benefits of Feng Shui? Why should we embrace Feng Shui? Here are some of the key benefits. Improved energy flow. So enhance the flow of positive energy in your space helps to reduce stress. A harmonious environment reduces stress and it promotes relaxation. And by now, you've heard me say a million times that stress adds to disease. It will start by bringing on inflammation, and if it's not addressed, it will continue to have louder and louder symptoms that are telling you, hello, pay attention, wake up, there's something going on. Well, the same thing here. Why should we embrace Feng Shui? And here are some of the key benefits. Like I said, improved energy flow, enhance the flow of positive energy in your space. That stress reduction, enhanced relationships. Feng Shui can positively influence relationships and communication. And I'm going to tell you, at the time that I was first introduced to Feng Shui, and I had a lot going on in my home, and I took this to total heart. I was out of desperation and nowhere else to turn, that I truly believed that this could be the answer to my prayers. And actually, in many ways, it was. And it did improve my relationships in my home as well. There was a lot of things that shifted with the changes in the energy and the decluttering and adding of plants. And I put a water fountain, and I started practicing a lot of yoga myself. So I was aligning my energy in my home with my body and with the space that I spent the most time in. And it really does make a world of difference. It could also help with increased prosperity. Aligning your space with Feng Shui principles can attract abundance and prosperity. With that in mind, go out there, get yourself a great book. I could recommend a couple if you like. You could always reach out to me at susanlopresti.com, or you can go to my website, www.susanlopresti.com. Anyway, thank you so much for listening today. I so appreciate each and every one of you. Until the next time, be well, stay happy, and bye for now. Take good care, everyone.